Broadcasting from the ARN Racing Studios in Southern California, a turn for media company, ARN Los Angeles. This is ARN, the American Racing Network, the Motorsports Authority. Now,
drivers, start your engine!
You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
You name it, we got it. NASCAR.
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it.
IndyCar.
Will Power is an IndyCar champion.
Thank you for calling.
Drag racing.
Jason line red lights and gives it away. Erica Ender Stevens becomes the 17th champion in the history of funny car with a hammer down throw run.
Supercross.
Ken rocks it to the finish line. He wins the season opener here at Angel Stadium.
And so much more. So get ready. You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
That you are, my friends. Welcome on in. You're shifting gears right here on ARN, the American Racing Network. I'm Alan Bailey. You can join me on the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Keyword search ARN. Also at the Alan Bailey if you want to communicate with me that way. Lots and lots and lots of cool stuff to talk about over the course of the next hour. First off, NASCAR, round 2 in New Hampshire. Kevin Harvick had a bad race last weekend in the season opener at Chicago, and then there you go. That's what it took to get him off to a bad start. He goes into this weekend at New Hampshire thinking, I got to go for the win. They kind of played a little fuel strategy game. Didn't pan out for him, and then there you go. That could be his season right there. 2 bad finishes in the chase, and he is on the bubble, and it's not looking great for Kevin Harvick at all. And speaking of Stewart-Haas Racing, big news out of Stewart-Haas Racing going to happen on Wednesday officially, but ARN can confirm that Tony Stewart will hang up his driving helmet after the conclusion of the 2016 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season. Humongous news. We've all kind of seen this coming for a little while. Frankly, you look at Jeff Gordon, he's in his early 40s. Tony Stewart, 44 this year. He is older than Jeff Gordon, and he has been driving for, although not the same amount of time in NASCAR as Jeff Gordon, he has been driving for the same amount of time professionally. You kind of saw this coming. We knew it was coming. Stewart hanging up the helmet. It's nothing of a surprise. The tentative announcement is that Clint Bowyer is going to be taking over the 14 car in the 2018 season. Who's going to be driving it in 2017? Well, I don't know. Excuse me. Let me flip that. Let me check that one. Clint Bowyer going to be taking over in 2017. Where's Bowyer going to end up in 2016 next season? Because he's out of a ride at Michael Waltrip Racing. They're closing their doors at the end of the season. Basically, Bowyer's going to be driving the number 51 car in 2016, going to be transitioning to the number 14 car in 2017. That announcement in both parts going to come Wednesday. The Stewart-Haas announcement with Clint Bowyer and Tony Stewart going to be coming on Wednesday. The announcement with Clint Bowyer and with H. Scott Motorsports drive the number 51 Chevrolet in 2016 going to be coming sometime this weekend at Dover. So keep an eye out for both of those this weekend. Another quick announcement in NASCAR, the fact that the 78 Furniture Row Racing car no longer going to be Chevy, going to be Toyota in 2016. Again, Martin Truex Jr. going to be in that car in 2016, but they're switching over to Toyota with a technical alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing. If you've seen where Joe Gibbs Racing has finished the last 2 weeks, you might want to go ahead and jump on that bandwagon because it's clearly firing on all cylinders at this point, and everything going on at RCR, not so much. So a very smart business move, I think, not only for on the racetrack, but also financially for Furniture Row Racing. So we'll see what happens in 2016 and beyond with them. We'll look into why it was only a 1-year extension for Martin Truex Jr. In drag racing, kind of a fiery finish right there as Dale Worsham picked up the win in funny car. However, his car kind of exploded at the line. Ay. Antron Brown picking up the win in Top Fuel. In Pro Stock, rookie Stillman raced past Ray Stillman, raced his Ray Stillman Chevy Camaro to his first victory, defeating teammate Erica Enders in the final there. And in the final round of motorcycle racing there, basically it was Mike Knowles who powered to his first victory of the season Sunday in the Pro Mod Drag Racing Series over at the AAA Insurance NHRA Midwest Nationals at Gateway Motorsports Park in St. Louis. We'll recap all of that in what was a very fiery, scary crash for Dale Worsham. He wins the race but blows up right at the line and then quickly gets out of that DHL Toyota. Yeah, I would do the same thing, actually. And again, no surprise in Cup Series. We're obviously going to be talking about Matt Kenseth win and what it means for Kenseth going into the final race of this round of the chase and what it means for the rest of Matt Kenseth's season. We're also going to be talking about Brad Keselowski's restart, a big controversy. Was he in the zone, quote unquote, to restart? Did Greg Biffle actually spin the tires? Did he not restart in time? What happened there? Plus, what's going on with Kevin Harvick? Is he going to make the chase? Is he not going to make the chase? And a NASCAR favorite could potentially not make it past the next round of the chase. I'm talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr. We'll break down his chances to advance from this weekend at Dover. Plus, we've got your top 5 from New Hampshire this last weekend in NASCAR. Lots of cool stuff coming up over the course of the next couple of hours. I do want to get you involved. The phone number is 720-600-RACE. That is 720-600-7223. Standard messaging and data rates do apply on that one if you so want to drop us a line, which I highly encourage you to do. Also, Joe Buck going to be clarifying the restart policy in NASCAR, and Brad Keselowski dropping some pretty heavy comments about how NASCAR isn't really a fair sport, it's entertainment, which might warrant one of those double secret probation periods from NASCAR. Ooh, double secret probation. Ooh. Plus, we'll be getting your tweets at the Alan Bailey. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace to talk to us on the program. Lots of cool stuff coming at you over the course of the next couple hours. Do yourself a favor. Don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
You must have thrown 1,000 pitches teaching him to hit a home run. Spent countless Saturdays running routes so he could learn to hit an open receiver. Endless afternoons teaching him how to hit the three-pointer. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit? Teaching boys that all violence against women is wrong is one of the most important things a man can do. Learn how to start the conversation at teachearly.org. Brought to you by Futures Without Violence and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Stash Feed. Get the feed. Log on to stashfeed.com to see what you've been missing and get the feed. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
Round 2 of the 2015 Chase is finished. It's in the books from New Hampshire this last weekend. Matt Kenseth in his Joe Gibbs Racing Dollar General Toyota, the victor of Round 2. Denny Hamlin, winner of Round 1. It's very simple to say that Joe Gibbs Racing clearly has this whole Chase thing figured out because they're constantly on top and they're constantly the team to beat. They're constantly up near the front. All 4 of their cars really have been pretty good in this Chase so far. Kenseth has been on fire lately, though. 4 of the last 8 races have gone to Kenseth. That's a pretty good season. He's quietly having a really good season, and it's starting to take notice finally, which is great for him. Now, you look at everything that happened this last weekend, you listen to Matt Kenseth, you can definitely hear it in his voice here in Victory Lane after the race. He's excited, he's thrilled, and he absolutely loves the role that they're on, which is saying something because if you actually look at Kenseth, he's the guy who very quietly, more often than not, celebrates. He's a very monotone kind of person, but this is highly emotional for Kenseth. Take a listen after the race.
We had to be there to win it. These Dollar General guys did a great job today. We didn't pit that one time. I was like, oh, and Jason's like, it's fine, relax. And then we made it to the front faster than we thought. I was giving Kevin everything I got. I thought he was going to beat us. He had a better car today. And I guess he was just a little short on fuel. So this is unbelievable. This feels unbelievable. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dollar General, DeWalt, Toyota, TRD, Gatorade, Citizen Watches, Wiley Access, and Reese's. I say it all the time, but we got great partners. And I really appreciate these guys a lot. And thank the Lord for putting me here, man. This is just this has been so much fun.
He might as well have been crying. Hand him a Kleenex, man. I mean, great for him. Kenseth, honestly, he drove his heart out. And no, he didn't have the winning car. He didn't even have really the top 2 car, I didn't feel. But you know what? He capitalized on a situation that was handed to him, and you have to be there. And it's taking those days where you're just going to barely squeak by with a decent finish and turning them into a great finish that actually makes this worth it. And that's exactly what Kenseth did. Now, after the race, he was also asked about how Joe Gibbs Racing is on a roll, and is this a good thing or not? And he was actually pretty smart with his answer.
Well, the thing about rolls and momentum, it can stop at any given moment, so you got to enjoy it while it's here. And, I've been enjoying driving this 20 car and working for Coach and Jason and this whole group. It's been awesome. I think we still got some more coming, so it feels good.
Yeah, it does. You look at Kenseth, I mean, he's really in the catbird seat right now, and he's really enjoying it because he is now into the next round of the Chase. He can kind of, I guess if you want to approach it this way, relax this weekend. Him and teammate Denny Hamlin can kind of cruise into this weekend. Edwards is 3rd in the standings, in case you're wondering, or will be once everything resets with Kenseth and Hamlin secured in. So virtually Edwards is 3rd, Logano 4th, Johnson is 5th, Newman is 6th, Kurt Busch is 7th. 8th is Brad Keselowski. 9th, Martin Truex Jr. Jeff Gordon in his final year, 10th right now in the standings. McMurray, 11th, and Earnhardt Jr. is 12th. Those are the drivers that are safe, if you will, to move on to the next round. Here's where everything gets dicey. Kyle Busch, 13th in points after he blew the tire this last weekend at New Hampshire, and in a very bad finish for him. 13 points, a single point out of 12th, which is the cutoff for the final round of the Chase, or for the next round of the Chase. Paul Menard is 14th, also 1 point out, and here's the danger zone. Kevin Harvick, after 2 disastrous finishes in the first 2 races of the Chase, he's 15th right now, 23 points out. And Clint Boyer, virtually with that points penalty for the infraction last weekend at Chicagoland, he is 39 points back. He's virtually out of this. The only hope that he has is winning that appeal. If he wins that appeal, then he gets his 25 points back, and he moves within 14 points of that final cutoff spot, and even then, it's a stretch. Bowyer's out of this. Even if he gets those 25 points back, it's going to be a heck of a stretch for him to make this chase, or the next round of the chase, rather. I don't know. You can see right there, Kyle Busch, a single bad race will get you out of it, and Harvick virtually has his grave dug for him. He has to go and he has to win at Dover this weekend, and if he doesn't win at Dover, he's more or less out. He pulled the Hail Mary too quick. Honestly, that 4-car and that 4 team with Stewart Haas Racing, they should have pitted Harvick earlier than when they did, and they should have topped him off more because he was 3 laps short. That's not, I can save you 3 laps. That's we didn't get enough fuel in, and we didn't have enough in. So it's pretty bad, honestly, that he was that short with making it. It's just disappointing, to say the very least. Let's hit the Twitter account here, at the Alan Bailey on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace. Alan, do you think Menard has a chance of making it? Yeah, you know what, I do. He's a point out. He's there. Is it likely? It's possible. It honestly is. If a guy like McMurray, Truex, Keselowski, somebody like that who's outside the top 5 in points has a bad weekend at Dover this weekend, then you know what? They're out because of a bad race, and a guy like Kyle Busch, Menard are automatically in there. They're both a point out. They're tied for 13th, but Kyle Busch does get the tiebreaker because of the wins, and that's how they'll do it. If there's an issue with the points, or if there's a tie like we see with Kyle and Menard right now for the 13th position in the points, they'll give it to whoever has the most wins, then to whoever has the most top 5s, then the most top 10s, then the most poles. And then after that, honestly, they'll probably go to the top 15 if they need to, but Kyle Busch with his wins clearly trumps Menard at this point, and that'll be the cutoff. Dale Earnhardt Jr., I'm worried about, man. He's having some good runs, but he's not having those out-of-the-park moments like he was having last season. Does it mean that he's done and put a fork in him? Well, if he has a flat tire, if he gets caught a lap down, it could potentially happen for him at Dover. Dover's the monster mile. Anything can happen. You could be driving along and be caught up in somebody else's wreck, totally unbeknownst to you. That's totally 110% possible. Is it likely? Yes, it's possible. It's extremely possible. Likely, I don't want to stretch it that far, but it's definitely in the realm of possibility. Now, you're going to sit there and ask yourself, well, what if this, what if that? And those are all fine, but that's all it is at this point, is it's all a bunch of what ifs. So I don't know. It's you'll have to watch, and you'll have to wait and see what's going on with them, because it's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be a very hard fought race this weekend at Dover, and it's only going to get more dramatic. It's only going to get tougher. It's only going to get more fiery and fierce as this chase rolls on. And right now, Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, Kevin Harvick, and Clint Bowyer will be eliminated after the race this weekend at the Dover International Raceway. All you could do is watch, really. We're 2 races of the 10 in. It's just a wait-and-see kind of thing, and you're just going to have to watch, because it's truly going to come down to that. Now, want to shift gears here, talk about restarts. Brad Keselowski, right there near the end of the race, he was starting on the inside, front row. Now, Greg Biffle was the leader technically, and the rule is the leader controls the restart zone, and if the leader does not go within that restart zone within a reasonable amount of time, it is the second-place car's job, in order to accelerate, to start the race, to restart the race. Now, NASCAR has 2 lines on the wall, literally 2 lines on the wall, that creates a box, and it is the leader and the second place car's job to restart within this box. It's the leader's job technically. So the big question is did the 2 car jump the restart? You look at it, it's an extremely close call. This is a strike and ball kind of call, and really, if I had to make the call, I would have to say that Biffle just didn't go when he was supposed to. He was going, then all of a sudden didn't. It was a very interesting situation. You look at the RPM and the telemetry from the onboard of both cars on the front row. Keselowski clearly stepping in the gas before Biffle does, if you go by that. But when you see all of the cars behind Biffle go and start to stack up behind him, I have to go with the Biffle might have spun his tires. Biffle wasn't ready. Excuse, because Keselowski was on it and he went within the restart zone. And it's NASCAR's call ultimately, and their call is final. Period. End of sentence. Now, does that automatically mean that they're right, they can only be right? Yeah, technically, but we can still talk about it, although nothing will change it. Unfortunately for Keselowski, and they fought the penalty, but ultimately nothing happened, and NASCAR's Joe Buck actually clarified the restart rule after the race because there was such a controversy with it. So he spoke to the media and kind of shed some light on it, but at the same time, not really.
Simple. NASCAR's decision is not simple. We take a lot into that. We looked at all the data that was available to us, all the video. We have our senior official on the ground. We made sure the rules were very clear to everybody. Obviously, in the last couple of drivers' meetings, made sure that we got everybody informed. And in fact, today during the race, again, reminded them on each restart, before the race and on each restart about the rules. We also, if we saw something that was creeping towards the end, we made sure we informed the spotter and the crew chief so they knew how we were thinking in the tower and what we were seeing. And that's what brought us to the decision. It's a language that we have for the restarts, and that language is there's a double red mark on the wall and there's a single red mark on the wall. The leader is the control car and has earned the right to restart the race. He must restart the race in that zone, and the leader was the 16 at that point. The two car restarted in the zone before the 16 did. We listened to the garage. I mean, we listened to what they say. They wanted clarity. We gave them clarity on it. It's very clear and very defined in the rules and regulations. We made sure everybody was clear on that, and we're not out to get anybody. But we're the keeper of the rules and the enforcer of the rules, and we wanted to make sure everybody understood. All anybody asked for in this garage area is to be treated fairly, and we believe we did our job today.
I don't know if they did their job fairly. I really don't. I don't know. This is a highly questionable situation because, frankly, at that time, we didn't have a whole lot of drama. Something you have to realize, NASCAR is a company. They make a business, or they make a living off of this product that they sell, and what they sell is entertainment. That is a plain fact. MLB, NBA, the NFL, they're all selling entertainment, whether you like it or not. It's a sport, yes, and there's a level of skill and chance that goes into it, and preparation and all that, but when it comes down to it, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, racing, they're all entertainment. And the simple fact of the matter is, NASCAR is competing with football. Period. You can't tell me differently, because NASCAR created the chase. In part, at least on paper, their excuse was because they didn't want a boring end of the season because of what Matt Kenseth did in 2003, but also because you just think maybe it's a coincidence that football's opening weekend happens right around the time the chase starts. Do you think that's just a coincidence, or do you think that's by design? Yeah, it's kind of by design a little bit. And everybody knows that in that garage area. Do they have to be happy about it and accept it? No, not really, but it's something that you do have to understand, that it is a level of chance. It is a level of skill that goes into it. However, NASCAR is competing for airtime on SportsCenter and other sports networks and channels with the likes of the NFL, with the likes of baseball, which is entering their postseason here in another week or so here, with football that is now in week 3 or 4, whatever week we're in with the NFL. They're competing with this. And the simple fact of the matter is, a questionable call, drama caused by NASCAR, a questionable call makes for a decent headline. And before this, we didn't have the headline of Kevin Harvick not making it on fuel, and it looked like he was going to run away with it. NASCAR needed a headline in order to make the highlight reel at SportsCenter and all these other sports channels. And, hey, if you have to create one, you have to create one sometimes. And NASCAR's kind of been caught with their pants down multiple times doing this, and they kind of got caught again. And Brad Keselowski and most of the drivers know that, but unlike the rest of the drivers, Brad Keselowski came out and flat out said it. It's not fair sometimes, but this is entertainment, like it or not.
It's a pretty basic understanding. It's an entertainment sport, not a fair sport. But, we had a great car. The team on the Miller Lite Ford Penske team was really strong. I don't know if we would have been able to beat the 20 and 11. It looked like they probably had 4 tires, but like I said, heck of a rebound. Really proud of my guys to come back and get a top 12 out of that, without getting another yell or catching any of the brakes after the black flag. So, part of it.
Yeah. It's part of the game. Honestly, NASCAR controls this. Big Bill constantly said that this is my sport. If I don't like how you're performing in it, I'll take care of you. And they treat it as such still to this very day in 2015, years after his death. This is very much the France family's company, and everybody else just kind of has to deal with it. And there is times when it's fair, and there are other times when it's extraordinarily unfair. And for Brad Keselowski, Penske Racing, and fans of Keselowski, this was a great example of it not being fair. Yes, NASCAR has to withhold a certain level of integrity, but the fact of the matter is I don't find them to be very integritable. I don't. You catch them multiple times per year in questionable calls and decisions, and they're so flip-flop on a number of things. It's very interesting to see this side of the story. Now, why am I saying this on ARN? Plain and simple, I'm not paid by NASCAR. You look at most of the motorsports companies, they have a partnership with NASCAR that cover NASCAR racing. ARN does not. We do not pull a payroll. We do not make money off of NASCAR racing, period. Whether Tony Stewart wins this weekend or Kevin Harvick, it means absolutely nothing to the bottom line here at ARN or me, period. My salary will still be the same, and nothing will happen if we cause a little more drama, unlike those folks at Fox and pretty much everybody else that pulls a paycheck from NASCAR. So that's something to think about. Just throwing it out there for you to think about. Let me know what you think at the Alan Bailey, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace. This one coming from Jeff Cunningham on Twitter. Alan, can you hear or see the black helicopters coming for you? No, I can't. I'm in a soundproof studio. I couldn't hear them if I wanted to, nor do I think they're buzzing overhead at the moment. But it's possible. I just don't think that it is, frankly, at the moment. Thinking about the black helicopter. Do you think that Brian France has a black helicopter and he's circling overhead? Ooh, here he comes. Ooh, watch out now. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Now I'm freaked out a little bit. On that note, we're going to go ahead and step aside. I'm going to go check for black helicopters outside the building real quick, make sure that they're not coming for me. So if you come back and I'm not here, they got me. Send a search party. Help. I'm totally kidding. Mostly. I hope. I pray. At the Alan Bailey, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace to get on this conversation. When we get back, Tony Stewart hanging it up after the 2016 season. So what's left of this year and one more year for Smoke. The legends are retiring, my friends. Tony Stewart's retiring next year. Jeff Gordon hanging it up at Homestead at the end of this year. I don't know. NASCAR's going through a major shift. We'll break down everything that's what is Tony Stewart's amazing career, and we'll analyze exactly why Tony Stewart is hanging up the helmet now, and did the controversy from last year and did the leg injury from a few seasons ago contribute to Stewart's decision to hang up the helmet at the end of the 2016 season. Don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on ARN.
Take ARN anywhere. Download your favorite ARN programs on iTunes. Keyword search ARN and listen online at arnrace.com.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Controversy, fuel issues, and oh, by the way, a couple of hard hits out in New Hampshire this weekend. Let's get going with this week's Top 5, presented by the Nerdgasm Podcast. Log on to iTunes and StashFeed.com to download it. Number 5.
He's got Blaney just crowding him here as we come to the green.
Big push from Regan Smith into the back of the 22, sends him way out front.
Gets him loose, too. Gathers it up as they go into one, and Blaney's the leader, but for how long? His 41st career start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And Ryan Blaney and the Discount Tire 22 makes his way off the final and fourth corner for his 4th career win.
Number 4.
Watch this. Leans in. Looks like they're talking. Then things get really aggressive. He walked away, and then he walked back over here to talk about it some more. Here they come. And they went after it.
As in most cases, there's two different sides to it.
Number 3.
Caution is out. Kyle Busch was into the wall. Now he is behind the wall and in the garage. They will have to go and do a lot of work to the right side of this car.
Obviously, he's got, most likely there's a right front tire down. Don't know if he ran over something or possibly melted a bead. A lot of braking you can use here. You can actually melt the inside edge of the tire. So not sure which it was, but certainly it looks like to me a tire going down. Yep, there. So
yeah, you can see the hood pop when the tire went down.
Kyle Busch.
It's killed.
Number 2.
Brad Keselowski is going to be shown the black flag.
So just remember, Greg Biffle, the car on the outside lane, is the leader. If he is the control car, he is the opportunity. He needs to maintain speed. You see him at about 45 miles an hour. He can go anytime in this box. If It looks to me that NASCAR has the right decision, perhaps, because Keselowski, according to the GPS, accelerated quicker. Was Greg Biffle spinning the tires? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. This is really a ball and strike call. But you see right here, Greg Biffle doesn't go. The 2 tries to go. I don't know the right answer. We're not NASCAR. We don't make this decision. They are obviously saying that the 16 didn't want to go yet. The 2 pushed the issue. That's the call they're making in the tower.
And number 1.
And he's out of gas. You just heard him. We ran out of gas. Not enough fuel saved. Kevin Harvick's going to come to pit road. Matt Kenseth trying to punch his ticket to the second round of the chase. Kenseth will win at New Hampshire.
I was giving Kevin everything I got. I thought he was going to beat us. He had a better car today. And I guess he was just a little short on fuel. So this is unbelievable. This feels unbelievable.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
Some of the big moments from this weekend right there in this week's Top 5. Welcome on back. At the Alan Bailey on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace in order to get in on the conversation. Now, just want to do a little bit of clean house here a little bit. On Saturday, Austin Dillon picking up the win at New Hampshire. The 500th NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race goes to Austin Dillon, the former champ. Also, Eric McClure, this is kind of a bit, Dave Blaney actually scores the overtime victory in the Xfinity race out of Kentucky this weekend. Congratulations to them. But we do have to send our thoughts and our prayers out to Eric McClure and his family, because the Xfinity Series driver Eric McClure was released from a local hospital yesterday after suffering a concussion during a crash at Saturday night's Kentucky Speedway race in the Xfinity Series. McClure drives the number 24 Toyota. He was held overnight for observation and underwent a battery of tests. The team issued a medical release Sunday afternoon that detailed his diagnosis as, quote, Eric underwent CT scans of his head, neck, chest, and abdomen. All were negative. He was released from the hospital this afternoon and was diagnosed with a concussion. He will follow NASCAR's guidelines to return to racing, unquote. Now, no word as to when he will be back behind the wheel of a car, but we do know that he is heavily involved with that number 24 Toyota on the owner's side, so we expect him to be back in that car at some point. We do wish him a speedy recovery. Hopefully we can see him at the track within the next couple of weeks, but hopefully not too soon. Now, the big headline grabber from this last weekend that came out of New Hampshire this weekend. Late Sunday, motorsports.com first reported it. ARN, ESPN, and a number of other media outlets soon followed. Tony Stewart will retire after the 2016 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season. Multiple reports and multiple sources have confirmed to ARN and to a number of media outlets that Stewart will be replaced in 2017 at Stewart-Haas Racing by Clint Bowyer. Stewart-Haas Racing is scheduled to hold a 1 p.m. press conference Wednesday afternoon with Stewart-Haas and co-owner Gene Haas at the Stewart-Haas Racing headquarters in North Carolina. Stewart is a 3-time champion. He raced in NASCAR's Premier Series back in 1999. He's tied for 13th overall on the all-time win list with over 48 series victories in the Cup Series. His last victory, however, came back in 2013 at Dover. Now, Tony Stewart's 44, and he's faced a number of tribulations over the last 2 seasons. He missed 15 races in 2013 after he suffered a broken right leg in a sprint car race in Iowa. Stewart missed 3 races last year after he was involved in a sprint car accident that led to the death of fellow driver Kevin Ward Jr. A grand jury cleared Stewart of any wrongdoing in that death, but Ward's family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Stewart, which is currently ongoing at this time. Stewart made his NASCAR debut in 1996 in what is now the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He was also IndyCar Rookie of the Year back in 96. He won the IndyCar title in 97. Now, Stewart has a Sprint Cup Series Rookie of the Year honors for the year 1999. He's also won 2 championships in the Sprint Cup Series back in 2002 and 2005 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And in 2011, he had an impressive run, winning 5 of the 10 chase races in 2011 and winning the championship for his own team, Stewart Haas Racing, which he formed in 2010 with the help of Gene Haas. He's an Indiana native, 2-time Brickyard 400 winner. He's not won the Daytona 500. He does have 19 career victories in various series at the Daytona International Speedway, ranking second to only Dale Earnhardt Sr., who won 34 races there total in various series. You look at his stats. They are extraordinarily impressive. He only has 3 wins in the IndyCar Series, but he does have the championship in 1997, and he raced in IndyCar more or less full time from 96 until 98. He did run a race in 99 and in 2001, running the Indianapolis 500 those years. In IROC, he ran the full series in 98, 2000, 2001, 2002, and 2006, collecting 4 victories in that series. He's run Rolex Grand Am sports cars a handful. He's run 10 of those, no wins, but he does have 3 podiums in that series. You look at everything else in the ARCA series. He ran 3 races between 2001 and 2003 with 1 win. All 3 of his finishes, top 5 finishes. That's pretty impressive right there. He ran a Wheeled and Modified Tour race, finished top 10 in that one back in 2006. He ran CASCAR in 2002 with a pretty lousy finish in that series, actually. In the Truck Series, he's run 6 races. He does have 2 wins in 2002, 2003, respectfully, but he does have 5 top 10 finishes out of those 6 races. That's pretty impressive right there. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, he's run a little under 100 races in that series between 96 and between 2013. He does have 11 wins. His first win coming in 2005. His last win coming in 2013. 41 top 10s in that series as well. In the Cup Series, this says it all right here. This is Tony Stewart in a nutshell. Rookie season was in 99. He's been racing full-time more or less ever since, besides health issues, in 2003 and obviously the issues last season in 2014. Over 582 starts over the course of 17 years in the Cup Series, 48 victories. 3 victories in his rookie year alone. His 2 best seasons came in 2005 and in 2011, championship years for him. And he's got an impressive 182 top 5s, 299 top 10 finishes, 15 poles. He's raced a staggering amount of laps. He's led a bigger number of laps. He's truly done great things in the Cup Series. He's a Hall of Fame driver. There's no question about it. He is going into the Hall of Fame. There's absolutely no question about it. You look at just his racing statistics in and of itself, they're just amazing, truly. They really are. He's won the NASCAR All-Star race a number of times. He won the Winston Open in 99, his rookie season, and finished second in his first All-Star race. That's pretty darn impressive for a rookie. He actually won the thing in 99 and in 2009, 10 years apart for those. He's won Gatorade Dual races. He's won 2 in 2005 and in 2007. You look at it, he won the Budweiser Shootout in 2001 and 2002. He also won it in 2007, and he won it again Though that's it, actually. He's won a number of Prelude to the Dreams and other exhibition races as well. No Daytona 500 victories, though, unfortunately. He's finished top 5, but he just hasn't broken through on that one, unfortunately. And honestly, what does Tony Stewart mean to NASCAR? He is the modern era of Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's the epitome of Dale Earnhardt Sr. He can get behind the wheel of any race car, no matter how bad it's handling, and at least get it in the top 5, if not win with the thing. Now, the last 2 seasons, we haven't seen that Tony Stewart show up. Obviously, his broken leg from that sprint car accident in 2013 physically changed him pretty dramatically. He came back into the car before he was really ready. He admitted that, but it was a day-to-day process for him. You look at his what happened in 2014, last year, with the death of Kevin Ward Jr., whether you believe it was an accident or intentional or not, the courts ruled it an accident. There was no foul play. There's a lawsuit that's currently pending from his parents who are trying to seek some form of justice for their son. You'd have to be an insane person not to do that if you're the parents of Kevin Ward Jr., and that's what they're attempting to do. But Tony is not Tony Stewart anymore. He's broken. He's hurt. And he's going to continue to carry the burden of the death of Kevin Ward Jr. on his shoulders for the rest of his life. He said that in a press conference shortly after the death and shortly after the incident. And he stayed away from racing for a number of weeks. And to be perfectly honest, Tony hasn't been the same guy ever since. He hasn't been the same guy the last 2 seasons. He's been hurting behind the wheel of the car. He's been hurting in his personal life. And is this decision affecting his... Are those incidences affecting his decision to hang up the helmet after next season? I believe they are. I don't think that it's not the on-track performance that is leading to Tony Stewart to hang up the helmet, because if that were the case, he would hang it up at the end of 2015, just like Jeff Gordon is doing, and hand the reins over to Clint Boyer next season, because Boyer needs a ride for next season. He has something arranged, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's not an easy decision. It's a very hard decision, and you look at Tony Stewart, he's a Hall of Fame driver. He's greatly impacted NASCAR because he's the guy who is not afraid to use the chrome horn on the racetrack and then back it up on pit road and in the garage area. And that's exactly how Dale Sr. was. And I know a lot of Senior fans are going to be blowing up my email account. You can't say that. They're two completely different drivers. They're the same person, practically. They're cut from the exact same cloth. Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Sr. are virtually the same type of racer. They are the same. And you really have to give it to Stewart, because this is not an easy decision. He's 44 years old. He's going to be 45 years old when he actually hangs it up. Physically, he probably can race for another few years, but ultimately it is affecting how he drives out there. He's not driving to the best of his abilities because of mental issues, but also because of physical, I believe, with his leg. I don't believe that leg's still 100%. He said that in multiple interviews since he broke it. And is that leg ever going to be where it was? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. But you look at Tony Stewart, he's been racing in NASCAR in some form since he was 25 years old. And he's 44 years old now, and you honestly have to say, you know what, this is enough. I'm done. The only thing he has left to accomplish is a Daytona 500 victory. And you really can't keep a career going simply because you want to try to get that one thing. And he's come very close many times, and like Senior, he's had this monkey on his back, and he's won multiple times at that track, but never that victory. And that's the pinnacle of racing in NASCAR. Does that mean that if Tony Stewart doesn't get a Daytona 500 victory next February, that his career is incomplete? Absolutely not. Tony Stewart has had a full, complete, impressive Hall of Fame career, and he'll go down in history as one of the top 10 greatest drivers in all of NASCAR, and quite possibly one of the top 10 drivers of the last 30 years in this country and possibly the world. That's saying something. That's Tony Stewart. And a lot of people say, oh, he's a jerk. He's got the world's biggest heart. I truly can't think of anybody else in that garage area who's more giving and more passionate towards people than Tony Stewart. Yes, he likes to kid around. Yes, he likes to give us all crap once in a while, but honestly, he's a good guy. He truly is. He's got a heart of gold, and that's what I'm always going to remember with Tony Stewart. He's still going to be an owner to our knowledge at Stewart-Haas Racing, so he'll still be involved and he'll still be around the racetrack, but he's no longer going to be driving after the 2016 season. Now, what's going to happen with his car? Ultimately, he's going to finish out this season and next season in that 14, but Clint Bowyer is going to be taking over that the 14 car in the 2017 season. But that begs the question. Bowyer is in the 15 car right now, but where's he going to end up next season? Where's he going to be for a year? Similar to what Brian Vickers went through a number of years ago, Casey Kane went through a number of years ago. Bowyer's going to be driving a single season in that 51 Chevrolet for H. Scott Motorsports. They're expected to make that announcement this weekend at the Dover International Raceway. His sponsor, 5 Hour Energy, will come with him to that 51 car, which unfortunately does leave Justin Allgaier out of a ride in 2016, but that's racing. Multiple sources confirmed already that Stewart is stepping out of the car at the conclusion of next season. There's also going to be an announcement on Wednesday that Bowyer is stepping into that number 14 car in 2017. Bowyer, he's 36 years old, 16th right now in the Chase standings. He was recruited by Richard Childress Racing in 2004. He won the Xfinity Series title in 2008 while running double duty in the Cup Series and in the Xfinity Series. In 2012, his first year with Michael Waltrip Racing, he finished a career-high second in the Cup Series standings in that number 15 5 Hour Energy Toyota. Like I said, 5 Hour Energy will follow him to H. Scott Motorsports, potentially to Stewart-Haas Racing in 2017. We're not sure on that. But in a decade, 10 full seasons in the Cup Series, Bowyer has earned 8 wins, 58 top 10 finishes, 163 top 10 finishes in 353 starts, and he has 2 poles. He also has 8 Xfinity Series victories and also 3 victories in the Camping World Truck Series. Bowyer's qualified. He's a Chase contending driver. He will win a championship at some point. He came very close earlier in his career with Michael Waltrip Racing, but that team is folding. They're closing their doors after the 2015 season. They only have a handful of races left, and Bowyer's trying to go out there and win a championship for them, or at least a couple of races before that shop closes, but it doesn't really look good. But you look at it, Stewart and Bowyer are very much the same type of person. No, Bowyer's not the guy to go out there and pick a fight on the racetrack and then back it up in the garage area, but he's outspoken, he's abrasive, and he gives a damn good interview, just like Tony Stewart does. So Stewart basically found, I don't want to say a younger version of himself to fill the shoes of his own car, but that's kind of what he did. And Clint Bowyer's the obvious choice in the garage area if you have to pick somebody to take over that car. The timing's right for Stewart. You have a driver who's very capable of taking that car to victory lane, and that's exactly what Tony Stewart needs at this point. And he needs to find the happiness in his life. He needs to, I think, step away from driving in order to get his head on straight a little bit, because it has been a burden the last 2 years. Whether he'll find that outside of the racing helmet or not, I don't know, but we do wish Tony Stewart all the best, and I truly can't wait to see if he can get into victory lane in his final year as he enters it next year, and what next year will produce and what the future looks like for Stewart-Haas Racing. I can't wait to see what it is. On that note, we'll step aside for the final time. When we get back, we'll wrap everything up and put a bow on it before we get ready for this weekend's racing. You like that one, didn't you? Don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on ARN.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it all the time.
What are we going to do if we lose the house?
It's time to stop thinking and start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
You must have thrown 1,000 pitches teaching him to hit a home run. Spent countless Saturdays running routes so he could learn to hit an open receiver. Endless afternoons teaching him how to hit the three-pointer. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit? Teaching boys that all violence against women is wrong is one of the most important things a man can do. Learn how to start the conversation at teachearly.org. Brought to you by Futures Without Violence and the Ad Council.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
The Verizon IndyCar Series is taking to Road America in 2016. It's on the schedule. They announced it back in June, or they announced it earlier this year in August, that IndyCar would be heading to Road America for the Road America Grand Prix on June 26th. And that is a 4-mile, 14-turn course, and they have been testing, my friends, out there today. Andretti Motorsports, Marco Andretti, also Ryan Hunter-Ray, Dale Cohn Racing's Tristan Valter, and KVSH Racing's Sebastian Bourdais, all on track for the test session today, but also on track today, I'm proud to announce, that Smith-Peterson Racing's James Hinchcliffe back behind the wheel of a car for the first time since his accident earlier this year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 113 days after sustaining that injury in which he basically almost lost his leg. I'm not afraid to say it. He almost had his leg taken off of him by a suspension piece that broke at just the right angle and went into the cockpit and nearly severed his leg off, as gruesome as that sounds. But thanks to some miraculous work by medical officials, he is up and walking around and racing today. And there's actually a very, very, very cool video of him up on arnrace.com and also on Twitter and Facebook at arnrace, of him getting into the car and him going out onto the racetrack for the first time. And you want to, if you're sitting at your desk, or if you're just, whatever you're doing and you're bored, you got to check this out. Because, yeah, it's Monday, but this is the shot of adrenaline you need in your Monday in order to kick everything off. Because this is so cool. It's like you're driving an Indy car. And I've been behind the wheel of two-seaters, and there is nothing like it. There's truly nothing like it. And to see the head turn and the video turn when you go into the turns, to see his hands on the steering wheel, to see the wheels turning, to see everything flying by at the miraculous speed that it is, it's an indescribable feeling, and the opportunity to see it is just so great. If you've never driven in a two-seater, sign up on IndyCar.com, IndyCarExperience.com rather, to check it out. It's truly breathtaking. It's truly miraculous. And to see him get behind the wheel of his car after 113 days of almost losing his leg and his life is spectacularly good news. And I'm thoroughly excited to announce that to you. So there you go. On that note, we are out of time. I'm dead serious. Just like that. NHRA heading to Maple Grove Raceway. I'm so tongue-twisted. Thank goodness it's the end of the show this weekend. Also, NASCAR heading to Dover this weekend for what will be a highly dramatic weekend. It's the final race of the first round of the chase. 4 drivers will go home after this weekend out at the Dover International Raceway. Will your favorite driver make it? Will they not make it? That's kind of the drama that we're in the middle of living, and it truly is exciting. Right now, the drivers who need to make something happen, Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, Paul Menard, and Kyle Busch. It's going to be pretty suspenseful. Keep an eye on Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's only a single point to the good. It's going to be tight. The Monster Mile might win. Expect the announcement from Stewart Haas Racing and Tony Stewart for his retirement on Wednesday afternoon. That's going to do it for us here at the American Racing Network. Log on to ARNrace.com for the latest headlines, and for everybody here at ARN. And for Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see ya at the track.
You've been listening to the American Racing Network, a turn for media company. This is ARN, the Motorsports Authority.